Hi, this is Felipe. Welcome to our demo center. Today we're going to be hearing from Anand Ramamoorthy around the cloud data governance and catalog solution from Informatica. Take it away, Anand.
Thanks, Felipe. Thanks for having me. So today the focus for the next 5 minutes is on cloud data governance and catalog solution Informatica's release. It's a SaaS offering. It's a single solution for what's called data intelligence, right? Ultimately, we are looking for intelligence within data that we hold, right? And also there are a lot of manual steps involved. So the goal is, as a software vendor, how can we enable organizations to automate wherever we can to reduce the manual tasks using machine learning and artificial intelligence capabilities. And then, of course, when we talk about SaaS, it's a truly cloud native solution, which means that with the growing needs, you can infinitely scale with the solution. It's a platform. You consume the services, so there's no maintenance aspect that comes into play. The upgrades automatically happen. And finally, it's about putting the information at your fingertips. That's the ultimate goal, right? So with that, I'll switch over to the actual solution and show you what it looks like. It's going to be a quick, snappy one, and then we can always take it away after that if you need any further details. Okay?
That's great. Thank you.
So if you can see that, I'm going to be first going in as an analyst, a data analyst called Amy.
Yeah.
So I'll play the role. I'm logging into the cloud services. So by the way, the cloud data governance and catalog service is a part of the overall platform, which has got other services like the integration services, data quality, master data management, data marketplace, and so on, right? So customers have the ability to consume any of these services because you're not tying into a specific product. You're buying the power of processing, which means that you can use any service for that matter at any time of that using that processing units that you purchase, right? So there's a lot of flexibility, consumption-based commercial model, which allows you to, because ultimately when we do work with data, the workload keeps varying. So you can use different services for the same power and utilize it, so you're not paying anything more, right? So that's a whole value proposition Informatica has to offer, right? So I'm logging in as Amy. When I log in as Amy, by the way, there's a lot of cloud modernization that's going on. There's data analytics works that's going on. All of this require data. And the biggest challenge we all face is, where do I find the data? What does it mean to me? The context, and what can I trust the data, and so on.
Yeah.
So as a data analyst who's responsible for sales order information, I'm coming into the catalog. I'm presented with this dashboard, right? And this is a personalized dashboard for me as Amy. And I can see some of the things that I govern, right? My governance assets, which are the business context, my technical assets, which are the data sets that I'm harvesting from my technical landscape, some issues that I might be responsible for, if there are without ownership assets that are sitting there, how do I tackle that, and so on, right? And you also have a distribution of the glossary concepts that we are familiar with, right? I'm particularly interested in the sales order information, so I could either go in and do a search, or I can browse the categories, right? I can browse into it. Say, for example, I can go into a catalog. I'm presented with a tree-like structure, right? And I can go in and look for it. But for this purpose, I'm going to be focusing purely on the search. And search, again, has got two ways to search, right? Basic, advanced. Advanced is like guiding the user through. In this case, I'm just going to use and I'm typing in, I'm missing out and I'm mistyping it. And the fuzzy search will automatically kick in. And when I search for it, it presents me with this screen where I got filters based on which I can narrow down my search, or literally I can look at specific aspects. Especially when I'm looking at this here, I'm keen on understanding what the data order means.
Yeah.
And immediately it presents at my fingertip some of the data quality measures, some of the aspects of what this particular term means, if there are any related assets, like what are the other related columns that are forming a part of that, and so on, right? I'm particularly interested in this subdomain because it gives me a definition and I can see that sales data. So that seemed to be more closely aligned to what I'm looking for. So I can drill into this. Now, what I'm doing is I'm getting into the definition, trying to understand what this order data means, right? And it's a part of the sales data hierarchy. It's got different names in different parts of the organization. my logic, and so on. And of course, stakeholdership, the ownership and accountability becomes critical if you need to have visibility and understanding, right? And other properties as well. And of course, table stakes, hierarchical information, what else is involved in that same hierarchy, you can see that. And I showed you the stakeholders that will come up, or if there are any tickets that have been raised, as in if someone has raised any change requests or anything that needs to be added or updated, you can see it. And finally, history. You will see these tabs presented for any of these, right? Auditability is key issue when it comes to any kind of asset that you want to govern. I'm particularly interested in the relationship tab.
Mm-hmm.
What I presented with is, of course, I'm looking at order data. What are the related data sets that are forming a part of it? What are the business processes that are linked to it? What are the policies? Especially when it comes to business metadata.
Yeah.
The business glossary is a language we speak, but it's actually the business processes or policies that are really the crux of a business function, right? So in particular, I'm keen on the sales order details because now I'm getting into further details. I'm trying to understand. This is exactly what I want to do from analytical purpose. I'm looking at retail customer churn. So I'm looking at it. Now I'm starting to drill into the technical assets. I'm starting to see where it's coming from. It's from a Snowflake data warehouse. I've got my stakeholdership and so on. It can also tell me that these are the fields that form a part of this. And I could go into each of these. I mean, I've shown you in the other, at the data set level, but particularly I'm interested in the lineage. Now I'm starting to build on. Now that I've understood this data set is what I need, now I need to know where it's coming from, where it's going. Now again, at the lineage level, I can see it at a high level, which is telling me it's coming from a consumer website, a till, and a product information management going into a data warehouse before it's visualized in a Tableau report, right? What I'm also interested in is going at the data element level, again, for the drilling down, right? So depending on the user's skills and ability, you can view it at a high level or you can go further detail, right? And there are a bunch of legends here. You can see the overlays are the ones which gives me the business context. Mm-hmm. Here, by the way, this data quality overlay is also getting added very soon, which means that I can see that I can trust the data flowing through the through this process or not, right? So,
and how does it develop the lineage?
Oh, perfect. Good that you asked the question, because we auto harvest the technical metadata from various different systems. The business definitions obviously are entered either through an Excel upload or someone keying in. Mm-hmm. Use machine learning and artificial intelligence to associate the business definitions with the technical metadata. So when you scan the technical metadata, the business assets are there. We use a bunch of algorithms, ML algorithms, to associate them. And we have tested this. I mean, we've had the data governance capability for quite some time. We are applying the same here. Those algorithms will give you, and we have seen some customers say that 3 months with 3 people, they're spending 20,000 assets. They were tying 6,000 odd business terms. It was taking 3 months for them. It's like a cat and dog's tail. By the time they get to 3 months, it's too late. That's what I meant by manual effort and how we can automate it, right? This is one example how we associate the business definitions to technical metadata using some machine learning algorithms. So many of these are covered. Some of them might be curated so you can address them, right? I'm specifically interested in this here. So you can have this context, right? You can define the context and you can see what is needed. And there are a bunch of other contexts, like you can see which business processes are impacting that, or any policies like personally identifiable information is impacting that, and so on. I'm going into a specific element, and I want to further drill down into it. And what I'm getting surfaced here is the column level details. It's automatically harvested data quality results at a high level. What I can find out about this data set, what has been held within that. Now, if I get into the lineage, now lineage will be much more richer because I'm going to the granular level. Yeah. And you can see here there are 9 hops that are sitting there. If I'm interested in looking at, I can just go hop onto one. Or I can expand on the hand. I can expand. Oops. What happened?
CO.
Yeah. I can expand into everything, right? What this gives me is the power of knowing what's happening to the data in between as well, right? And I can see that it's coming from Oracle, many systems. It's going through some ETL processing, going via S3 buckets and so on before it gets into a Snowflake, right? And then before it's consumed into Tableau report, which is exactly what we saw at a higher level as well. This gives me much more granular. So what I've done just now is a quick show of, as an analyst, I'm searching for the specific asset in the catalog, find the catalog definitions, and then drill down into the data assets that are in the technical world, understand the lineage, where it's coming from, where it's going. So I'm informing myself enough. I'm getting the confidence that this is the right data set to use for the analytical purpose that I'm using it for. Quickly, the other view that I want to give you is obviously AI model, machine learning and AI model has become quite mainstream now. Many of them are now rolling it into production. Customers are getting recommendations made by AI models. Explainability is one aspect. The other thing is internally, just like any other data set, visibility and understanding into a model is equally critical. So governing these assets have become an important aspect as well. So we also introduced what's called AI model governance, which means I'll go into another dashboard that I've created for myself where I'm looking specifically at data quality metrics. I can drill into it to understand what data quality measures are giving me this result. But ultimately, what I'm keen on here, specifically what I want to show you is the AI models that I have, right? I can click on it and I can see these are some of the AI models that I have within the organization, and it gives me some description. Now, this is where I want to show you the advanced search in a bit, right? So advanced search is like a guided one where I can say all assets of type AI model. And if I want to further filter, I can filter it by saying of type with customer churn or so on, right? I'm specifically going to look at these AI models. It offers me this. And when I drill into it, just like any other data set, I've got a definition. Now this is a special type of asset because you want to know the purpose, you want to know the input and the output, because these are all a part of explainability as well as the transparency and visibility, because there are different teams getting involved in building an AI model, and there are different teams who use it, consume it for various applications. And you can also see the drift score and bias score. Again, this is giving you capability to which environment this is a part of, whether it's training or validation or production environment. And more and more, and we are looking to add dynamic lineage, depending on which data pipeline you use.
Right, wow.
It'll show you what input and what output it's going to have, right? So that's what we are taking. And given it's a short demo, I just wanted to stop it here. We have a self-service data marketplace capability. If you got a minute, we can share that as well, if you're okay with that.
Yeah, let's do it. So the in this case, the drift score and the bias, they come from a external platform and they're being fed in. So this is great.
So currently, some of these are entered, but again, it's providing visibility, right? You need to document some of it. But we do have integration with the notebooks, Databricks notebook to begin with, but we are adding other model capabilities into this as well.
Fantastic.
Now, I will log out as an analyst, and I will log in as doesn't let me log on. That's interesting. But effectively, I'm going to log in as another user who's basically a consumer of these AI models, let's say. That seems like a browser glitch. And I'm going to log in as Stacy this time, Elon, okay? And what I'm going to be, Stacy is a data consumer, so they don't need to get into the details of a catalog. And their surface, as soon as I log in as Stacy into the marketplace is like a storefront for data. Just like we go in and shop for products in Amazon and eBay, what I'm presented here is just like you have clothing, bags, your shoes, and these kind of categories. Here, instead, it is sales, marketing, your merchandise, and different departments, or depending on how you want to categorize your data sets, you can categorize it. So if I'm specifically looking for sales data, I can go into it. Or I can look at the most popular data collections. So a collection of data that is needed for my work, I can request for it, right? And you can see some statistics as well here. And you can see that there are 7 consumers, 3 requests have been raised, or some of them have been fulfilled and so on. I'll come to what that is, right? Instead, I can do a search. As I said, Stacy is now looking to build a customer churn prediction model and look at the retail customer churn, right? So I'm just going to type it as customer churn, and then I can search for these assets. I can see there are 3 of them being presented. Now I know for a fact that customer data will have PII information, which means that I might not be directly use it for analytic purpose. So I'm keen on specifically looking for anything which is anonymized data set. So I can further filter them down, and then I'm presented with one data collection that I might be interested in. When I click on it, just like we search for a product in Amazon or eBay, I get more details about that product, right? So like, what is the purpose of use, status, who are the owners, which is just like who's the seller of the product, right? Equivalent to that. And the buyer is like the consumer here. And who are the others who are using it, right? Just like we are social animals, we want to know who else bought it. And very soon you'll have the ratings and feedback, because we already have this capability in the on-prem world, which is replicating it into as a SaaS offering, right? Yeah. So you can see the terms of use, just like we have different delivery locations in whether it's your home address or your office address, you can deliver it to an AWS S3 bucket or a Databricks, PySpark, or Synapse, or so on, right? And these are a list of things that are provided. You can add more to it if needed. Okay, default is what we have here. And what are the data sets that form a part of this collection? And I can see it's coming from the governance capability, or it's coming from an external catalog. You can even directly ingest from Snowflake and so on, right? Once I'm happy with what I'm presented here, just like I go for product, I'm buying it, I'm checking it out. So I'm presented the justification for why I need it, because just like seller wants to know more, the custodians of the data would want to know more. So using for retail customer churn analysis, and then I can change the delivery target to something else. Let's say PySpark, Databricks PySpark is where I want it to. And I can say ASAP or something like that, and then I move on to next. And just like at the end of it, you get a summary of what we're looking to buy. You get to see the order summary. What are the policies that are associated, so you're well informed before you start using it. And then I submit order. When I submit order, I can see what's the status of the order, right? Just like whether I'm buying it, it's in transit and so on. You get to see that as well. So it's a parallel world to data, just like what you buy products in eBay and Amazon. We all so used to, and it's second nature to us. We go in and shop. Why can't we do the same for data? And data quality will be a part of this. We already have it again in the on-prem world. We're just bringing it in the next month or so. That'll be, and just like Tesla car, this solution keeps you start using it, you'll start to see more and more features and capabilities getting added to it. It's continually getting added, right? Or I can see what is it that I've already purchased. That's what I'm getting to see here. So this is just to give you a quick snapshot of how you can democratize your data. Once I have a visibility into that, how do I ensure that consumers can consume the data without having to wait for people to provide them input, right? It's a true self-service capability, arming them with enough information so they can make informed decisions whether that's the right data set or not. That's the whole purpose of it.
That's excellent. I love that it's one glass pane to be able to have data discoverability. So see all the data sets, being able to search them, being able to see the lineage down to the element level. So the fact that it has a section for analysts and a section for business stakeholders, where the business stakeholder can access and almost buy the access to the data sets through a product. It's fantastic. That's really great. Thank you so much for sharing with us today.
Not a problem. So just wanted to add, discovery is a key element, then classification of that, and then of course consumption, right? So it goes to that life cycle. So
Excellent.
yeah,
Thank
thanks
you
for
so
having
much,
me,
mate.
Felipe. Yeah.
I'll stop the recording.